Okay, welcome back. Today we're gonna have a look at a friend function. So that is the only thing that I've changed in the dummy class. I've just added a friend function. So down below in the main, I've just typed in dummy class and I've declared two variables. So you have DC1 and DC2. We are basically going to be utilizing this constructor here, the one that actually takes parameters. And it's going to be printing out a string and an integer here. But if we wanted to print, okay, use this one, and then somehow we would like to add the two strings together. So let's see what's going on here. You have dummy class constructor, and it takes one parameter, and it initializes one attribute, and then it initializes another attribute, and then it prints them out on, and then it creates a printout onto the screen. But what if we wanted to somehow interact between the two instances of a class? Let's say we've called it once, and then we've called it twice, and we want these two to interact between each other somehow. I don't know, let's say for the sake of this example that we would like to add the two strings together. So we would like to access, the attribute, we would like to add the two variables together. So we would need to access one attribute from a private attribute from one instance, and then access a private attribute from another instance. You see these private attributes are here. It's int dummy underline attr1. So we would like to access the private attributes from both instances. How would we achieve this? Well, that is why we have a friend method. This friend method is able to access private variables from both instances and create some sort of interaction between them. In our case, we're just going to be calling DC1 dummy attribute 1 plus DC2 dummy attribute 1 as well. So we are effectively adding the same attribute twice over, but from two different instances of the same class. And then we're going to go ahead and observe the result. For that, we need a friend method. The declaration of a friend method is fairly simple. All you need to do is type in friend in front of it, and that is literally it, nothing else. Everything else is exactly the same as a regular method. This method add will take two attributes of type dummy class. It will be DC1 and DC2, and these will be passed down below in the main, and then it will return some sort of a result. Okay, so let's go ahead and I should probably type in here. Well, no, not really. Anyway, I'll let the compiler tell me. I feel that that's always the best approach, even though a lot of people would argue with me. Let's go ahead and type in int res as an int result, and this shall equal to add DC1 colon DC2 semicolon at the end. So we are calling the friend function, and we are passing the necessary attributes to it. And then we're going to type in std colon out res, and it's going to be std colon and l. And of course, I just remembered that I was forgetting something. Return result. There we go. So let's go ahead and run this. Oh wait, the previous iteration is still running. Let's just close it. Control S to save, build, and run. Okay, so second constructor here, parameter equals to 100. Second constructor here, parameter equals to 200. Destructor has been called. Destructor has been called. And then again down below, a method is being called, and it's adding 100 and 200, and that would be 300, and then again the destructor is being called. So we have used something, we have destroyed something, we have used that same something again, and then we have destroyed that same something again, twice over. This is a bit of a redundant usage, but oh well, better safe than sorry. Anyway, the destructors were a part of the previous tutorial. Here, I just wanted to show how you can interact between the two instances of a class. Anyway, as you can see, this is calling the constructor, and the constructor is so much more than just int. There's also a char. There's also a printout onto the screen. So there's also another attribute, and there is a printout onto the screen, etc. But this one has the ability to access something within the class. So if we a private variable, let's say, you can, well, not access it, but you can reference it within the class and then access it from within the class with a method. And once you call a friend method from a class, you're able to access those private variables. If you remember before, we couldn't actually access them directly, but rather instead we had to go through methods, because, for example, this one and this one are private and you cannot access them directly. You can only access them through means of public methods in order to change them or utilize them in any way, manner, or form. And we have done so through the friend function add down below, as we have called it. And it does work. Anyway, that's all that I really wanted to show you, how you can mess around between different between DC1 and DC2, between these two instances of the same class, how you can use the private attributes from them by using the same method here. We have accessed the attribute from the instance DC1, and we have accessed the attribute from the instance DC2 as well, without any problems of whatsoever. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and bid you farewell, and we're gonna go ahead and jump into the next chapter, well, not the next chapter, the next tutorial of the same chapter, where we will talk about generic classes.